claims everything was expected to be straight. Looks like it seems John Wayne.
It's called James. I host News every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow as your host for all the years at your service, trying very hard with my team, bring every information we feel necessary for you to know. There are times, when the information is necessary, there is a little 50-50 kind of percent chance it's important, not important to you. However, there are times when something like this, which is 100%, if not 110% important to you, to your life, especially you have kids, especially you want to realize your American dream by taking the advantage of this beautiful flag of democracy. Other than that, you don't care? I don't care. You're not my audience anyway, right? So if you are my audience, I'm talking about this. This is very serious, and we are being sabotaged. The system, the concept, our ways of running our society are getting sabotaged by politicians, quote unquote politicians. So once again, as you may see, we're doing it all out. In the front, you see the big poster there instead of with our own ID, our logo. Why we do that? We seldom do that. I promise you, this is the only time, once out of the blue moon, this really once out of the blue moon, we cover our own logo with the poster. Why? Because it is so important. It is devastating. It is the moment. Okay. In talking about this, we'll let you know that November 3rd is going to be a day, the D-Day. All right. It's our D-Day to fight against this notorious preposition, which is number 16. In talking about it once again with you, my dear friend, I have my big brother and sister here to share with you. I'll start with the lady first rule, Joy Chen. She's the outreach director at large of Orange County, of California, for equal rights. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Jack. Thank you so much for having me on today.
All right, thank you very much. And next to him is my old friend, so old that he knows myself better than I myself, Marc Ng. He is the director of California for Equal Rights. And of course, equal rights is a slogan. It's not only a slogan to me, it's our everyday. And only if you do not care, if you do not notice. However, the thing is that if you don't care today, you lose one. And you don't care tomorrow, you lose two. If you don't care for 1 year, you lose, well, almost everything. So, back to the show, to Marc. And I, of course, last time we did a good job, very good job. I got lots of calls, even email, to encourage us to go forward with more chances to let even more people know. And then they say they give us both hands for what we have done. And their concern is that it is not that everybody know as much as they do about this notorious bill. Right? So once again, I would like to start from you to give us a whole picture. Oh, you. Probably you want to start with 209, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So starting from the time of 209 all the way to now, what is exactly this notorious 16 is about?
Yeah, thank you, Jack. So Proposition 209 was passed by 55% of the Californian voters. And basically what it says, and it's modeled off of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And when it says the state shall not discriminate against or grant preferential treatment to any individual or group on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin. Very well written, and because of that, we ended a lot of the racial preferences in the public sector in California. So no longer were people judged based on the color of their skin or their gender or where they're from. It was very much based on merit. So fast forward to this year.
And remember, just to interrupt, this was passed in 1996. I want people to remember that. Okay?
1996.
1996.
Six.
24 years.
So we've had 24
24
years ago, yes.
We've had
Okay.
24 years working towards equality. And in the meantime, it's been challenged many times. It's been challenged also in our legislature, as well as by our legislators across the state. So it survived all of those. This year, unfortunately, because of coronavirus, they were able to sneak it through the legislature. And now we get to vote on it again. And we hope that we will beat that 55% margin.
All right. And I remember that in the process, during the process, in between Proposition 209 and Proposition 16, there are two more, at least two more, SCA 5 and ACA 5. Why don't you let us all know all?
So it's been challenged a few times. I think I kind of got involved in this fight. So I was a 209 baby, we call it. I went to college in 2010. So during that time, it was post-racial preferences. And I like to think I could have gotten in otherwise, but I don't know. Thanks to the equality
That's a
under
good point.
209,
That's a good
I was
point.
able to go
Based
to
on merit.
college. Yes. So in 2011, I know at least SB 185 was introduced, which is when they started to try to chip away at the freedoms that 209 provided. And we were able to stop it then. Governor Jerry Brown said, "I understand the intent. However, this is not the right time. This is not a good bill." So he vetoed it. But ever since then, it's been challenged a few more times as well. And I believe they've also taken it to court.
Yeah. And this is the worst of all, is the ACA 5, which is the foundation for Prop 16. So it was not a separate instance. This is ACA 5, a proposed constitutional amendment that not only does what it wanted to do before, but takes it way further. And the one party that is in power, the supermajority of Democrats, have actually used this smartly as an opportunity to push through legislation they normally would not otherwise if they had a veto minority that would veto passing far left crazy legislation like this. So this is sweeping across not only colleges, but public sector jobs and also any public education. So that includes K through 12 and charter schools.
All right, thank you very much. My lovely audiences, my dear brothers, sisters, dear parents, especially when you're parents, you have kids in school, you really have to, number one, pay attention to what we're talking about. Number two, have a head-to-toe, thorough understanding of what the issue actually was, actually is, and shall be. All right, now, I would like to tell my audience in my language, which probably they understand better, right, about the whole thing. In 1996, California made a law. The law is Proposition number 209 to stop discrimination of in the name of governmental preference. For example, if you are entering into a school, right, and you happen to be an Asian, right, the Asian numbers of enrollment of that year of that particular school has has surpassed the quota. For example, your population stands for 12% of the whole population. And that school gives you a quota of 12 population, and if you stand for the 13th%, so your chance is out. That's called governmental preference. On the other hand, they do it the other way. If you are caught by a cop, the cop has a quota for 3 Asians per day, and you're the 4th. The cop will let you go. Well, the joking part is that the cop will let you go. Now, we all came to this country, we all came to this beautiful democracy for its chance to realize our dream. If we can't, let our kids do it. If our kids can't do it, let our grandkids do it. There is always a chance. Through what? Through education. If you are discriminated by the governmental, by the political, by the lawful, by the legal preference, though, your chances are forever gone. Right? So now, from 1996 to 2000, 24 years have passed peacefully. Of course, there are details which I will come back later. So all of a sudden, they make another war to fight back. Okay, now, this is what we are talking about. Now, in the middle, 2012, the politicians who were defeated by 209 created something called SCA5 to appeal to the dead ones. To appeal 209 to exhume the dead rules. So now, what they did, they used the SCA5, which was for 3 years made us busy talking about, which was finally defeated by the California voters, never passed. All right, we celebrated, and I recall there was one show when I was celebrating with Marc. He and a bunch of friends warned me, no, too early to celebrate. It will come back. However, it not only shall come back, but also when it does come back, though, it will have another name. Sure enough, this past spring, it did come back. Right? It did start using another name, SCA5. We did a show, try to talk about it, try to make sure people understand that's the devil we're talking about. Right? Now, before everybody knows it, it has another name, Proposition 16. That's why I decided with my team, we go all out, even at the cost of covering our own logo, to let you know this is the devil. This is the devil, right? Okay, my dear friends, we take a moment out, we come back to continue. Stay with us.
It's called James. I host the English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, brothers, sisters, especially, I should say, our fellow Californians. We are talking about California. We're talking about a devastating moment for California. We, the people, are represented by our representatives. However, our representatives are it is seldom the case that they want to represent us. They represent them. They represent their interest group. They represent their political ideology. If for us, they will do something otherwise, right? Now, I concluded this with the fact of the example of last year at the ballot vote poll. So we had the proposition number 7. Remember?
You mean 6?
Number 6. I'm sorry. 6 to 16. Number 6 regarding the gas tax. That was. Can you tell my audience what exactly was?
I mean, the long and short of it was they played funny with the ballot language, which Betty is going to talk about with Prop 16. How the Attorney General likes to word things in a way, and we've talked about this ad nauseum about how they manipulate that to only highlight what they want the public to hear, but not giving the full truth. And I think with 16 it says promotes diversity, right, on their end, but unfortunately it actually hurts diversity and it hurts merit. So that's really what happened. And Prop 6, the gas tax, said to repeal road repairs. And in the end, a lot of people don't want to repeal road repairs, but they didn't realize that it actually adds a gas tax of 12 cents plus, which ends up going to the general fund and for them to use however they want and not to its intended purpose. So that's a whole nother issue. But let's stick on 16. And I know, Joy's got a few things to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, going off the racial diversity thing, I think what's important to understand is that in my lifetime, at least, this has probably been the most anti-Asian year ever. Mm-hmm. I was a Chinese history major. I took actually ethnic studies classes, and I learned about, and even in California, for anything from the Chinese Exclusion Act to things like that. And I think affirmative action is our Asian American fight of our lifetime. Even just a few days ago.
How? In what sense?
I think it really undermines a big tenet of our culture, which is merit. I think my parents came to the United States. They were not very well educated, but they wanted me to be educated. They made a ton of sacrifices. My mom took 3 jobs. My dad worked minimum wage to be able to afford a nice home in a nice community for me to go to a good school. For that to be taken away just because my last name is Chen and not something else, I think is ridiculous. Even just a few days ago, everything that came out with Yale and the Department of Justice finding out that they were not just discriminating against Asians, but white students as well, I think is ludicrous in 2020. We've heard leaders in our legislature in California, stemming even from Gavin Newsom, making that coronavirus comment about Vietnamese nail salons, to leaders of the ACLU, legislators saying they want to punch Asians because of affirmative action, I think is very hurtful to our community. It's not okay if they said that about any other group. And it's time for us to stand up to that. And it's time for us to stand up against affirmative action.
It is so hurtful. And as a person, I don't think I'm that sensitive. I mean, Jack, you know me, we're very direct to each other. But, when I read these articles, like Christina Garcia, the assemblywoman who says she wants to punch an Asian, I mean, that's just so hurtful.
Why would it?
To me, it's something, I think it opens up a lot of wounds. I think the Asian community is very, very polite. We are overly focused on being high level and just not going down and fighting back when we really should at times and speak up for ourselves. And that's actually the heart of why I started Asian Industry Business to Business. I wanted to get into, activism and fight for issues like fighting Prop 16 and bad legislation, because this discrimination has gone unchecked for too long, and they just keep pushing the envelope more and more, to the point now that they are encroaching on the one area that Asians are the most successful at, which is academics and achievement. You know, we're the doctors, we're the top lawyers, the top businessmen. They are trying to attack us on where we're good at. I'm really concerned about how the discrimination, because most of us Asians are very quiet and we accept the abuse basically because we want to be polite, we want to keep the peace, and we want to just focus on high level and not worry about the little things. But what happens is there are other minorities and even whites, you know, the greater culture takes that silence for acceptance. And once they do that, they start pushing and pushing. And Prop 16 is a great example of that, pushing to finally getting to a place where it's really attacking where Asians are good at. Okay, we talked about this last time about athletes, right? Okay, Asians are not exactly the top athletes, or we have low representation. But once we do quotas, you know, then, you know, technically there should be quotas and get Asians in there. But what's that going to do to the overall game? We're going to have less great players because they're not entering in on merit. Okay, this is what the Prop 16 wants to do with our industries where Asians excel at. Doctors, dentists. I mean, I've heard from people, I want to go to an Asian dentist because they know what they're doing and their hands are small enough that it can actually get to, you know, my teeth right? So, I mean, God gave us all different strengths, all different races. This is actual targeted racism against Asians, and we need to wake up and stop this and actually come out. And I hope that everyone watching this understands that this is your children's future at stake here. You need to get angry. You need to get politically activated.
Yeah, and I'm tired of us. We are not victims. We have never claimed victimhood.
Yes.
We will never say we are victims. However, we do need to fight.
Well, I'm not a crying baby, right? At least I do not want to act like as if I'm a crying baby. However, when you are put into a corner, though, to think like a crying baby, your only way out is to cry.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, my dear friends, let's take a moment out. We'll come back to cry.
It's called James. I host the English news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear brothers, sisters. Welcome back to the show. My dear Californians, fellow Californians, if you happen to be parents, that means you have kids in school, though. I would say that you are finally seeing the show that you deserve to see. I deserve to be seen all the way. Okay, and talking about this notorious Proposition 16, number 16, which I call upon you to vote a big no. The moment you see it. If it is a face, you slap to the right, to the left, and boom, punch it on the nose. All right, I really wish to do so if this had to be a person, because it really kind of destroys what we really believe under this beautiful system of democracy. I have my dear friend, a big friend, even though a tiny, petite, beautiful lady, she is a big friend of mine all her life. I know her, we go back more than 25 or even some years. Former mayor of Monterey Park, founder of East West Bank, which is still my bank, and an attorney, right, and an advocate of Southern California. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack.
And thank you for coming again on the show, because you really speak the same language as I do. I want to do it in the most devastating way, right? Because I understand this is a devastating moment. However, to understand the whole picture of his past, current time, and the future, and also I believe you might have some update about the issue. So I would like to do it within your own pace, please.
First of all, I am here as an honorary co-chairman for the Californians for Equal Rights. And the members of the Californians for Equal Rights on the board and in the executive positions are the ones that were authorized by the California minority legislature to appear on the ballot arguments. So Ward Connerly, who is our president, and Gail Harriet, who's our vice president, and myself are the ones whose names you will see on the ballot argument on vote no on Proposition 16, in opposition, an argument against Proposition 16. So we need your audience's help to spread the word. We need your audience to go on the website of Californians for Equal Rights to donate to help in this fight, because the fight is not going to end soon. We intend to follow it all the way up to the Supreme Court. That's how important this issue is, Jack. You know, Jack, I got into law school and to college not because of the color of my skin, but because of merit. In fact, I started college a year early because of my high school record. And I graduated early from law school simply because it was based on merit, and I passed the California State Bar without the State Bar having to lower its standards. So I have been in public employment. I have been in private legal practice. I have observed, both as a student before Prop 209, being there myself. I also have observed as teaching law school and teaching at a community college district the effect of Proposition 209 and its beneficial effects on our minority communities. I also have observed employment in the public sector with reference to racial diversity, both before, primarily before Proposition 209. I have been in private business and in construction, in real estate, and in finance, primarily observing what quotas do to place minorities in a less than equal position so that we could not otherwise achieve
Not
our
only
American
yourself,
dream.
but being an advocator, yourself being a role model of this, and you yourself is an example of it.
Oh,
Right?
thank you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So it was, I was retired and hoping to continue more in retirement until I got phone calls from out of state to urge me to continue my fight. I was involved in SCA 5. And in that, I was very successful in being able to start the opposition to SCA 5 so that it would not proceed to the legislative assembly level, and therefore it stopped. But as you pointed out earlier, ACA 5 is far more dangerous than SCA 5. ACA 5 became Proposition 16. The prior legislative attempts was
There's a
only,
reptile that changes colors.
yes, but the problem is the colors that it changed to were far more dangerous.
And more
Because it
beautiful.
had poison.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but it was poisonous.
Yes.
Because the way that it is going to appear on the ballot is very misleading and is once again, like Proposition 6, designed to deceive the voter. It is designed as a false statement on purpose. And I'd like to get into that.
All right, good. That was exactly, I was mystified. That was exactly what I complained with Marc about last year's Proposition 6.
Absolutely. And once again, the Attorney General, I believe it's a conspiracy with the supermajority legislature, in conspiracy, has not only misstated this proposition on the ballot, but has also done so with other propositions. But I want to concentrate on Proposition 16 because it is so invasive. It follows you from charter schools. It follows you from kindergarten through 12th grade. And it even can affect the ability of people who can merit a scholarship to be deprived of a scholarship because of the color of their skin or because of their gender. And that is wrong because we want the best and brightest to be able to go to college on merit, because what Proposition 209 did was when it eliminated race as a factor, there were more minority students that graduated. And there were more minority students that were able to be employed in the public governmental sector. So, but Proposition 16 wants to take your constitutional rights away and the constitutional rights of your children and your grandchildren. The color of your skin.
Legally.
Yes, it will legitimize and legalize race, the color of your skin, and your gender for purposes of promotions, hirings, firings, admissions,
Under the disguise of equality.
under the disguise of diversity.
All right.
And that is what is so bad about the ballot title and summary and the ballot label that the Attorney General was allowed to keep on the ballot pamphlet and on the ballot itself.
Betty, please allow me with a little request of an insertion, right? So with the word diversity, I would like to point out that is exactly the area of the problem, right? Let's take a moment out. When we come back, I will share with you my concern about the word diversity, all right? So, my dear brother and sister, we will be right back, please.
Continue to work on it now.
My name is Paul James. I host the news every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear fellow Californians. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with a group of wonderful friends. I have Betty Tom Chu, former mayor of city of Monterey Park and a co-chair of California Equal Rights. Oh, by the way, 3-4 days ago, I heard an interview of Bill and Hanno of the most stimulating talk radio, AM 640, an interview of one of your co-chairs.
Probably Ward
Ward
Connerly, who was the
Yes,
president of our group.
And
because he is known as the father of Proposition 209.
he made a very, very strong opinion about the nature of Proposition 16.
Yes.
And the Bill and Hanno at the show, they seldom express their supportiveness or whatsoever that much, but they did that time.
Oh, wonderful,
Right.
wonderful.
Okay. Go back to the introduction. Founder of the East West Bank, which is still my bank, and he's an advocate for California, Southern California, for so many years. And she is also the composer of the bill requesting an award, a presidential award, to the World War II veterans who are now close to 100. And I checked with her only a few minutes before the show. The time is ticking, so we're almost running out of time. So back to the show. And Joy Chan and Marc Ng, they both are of California for Equal Rights. So back to the point. I was asking you the word of diversity. So you might have a different take of diversity, or you want to emphasize to our audiences why you pick the word diversity out, please?
Diversity is something that all of us would like to see in California because we are a diverse community. But what the bill simply says is to repeal Proposition in the Constitution, which was Proposition 209, to repeal the California constitutional provision. It says nothing about diversity. That was what was passed by the legislature to become Proposition 16. In addition to that, Proposition 209 in the resolution part says nothing about diversity. And yet, under Proposition 209, there has been tremendous diversity of increases of minority participation in admissions and graduations to the universities, in public employment, and in public contracting.
Because you no longer discriminate them.
Yes.
That's right.
Because you allowed everybody a chance. Because you're exercising equal rights for Californians.
Yes, and
Because you do everything on merit basis.
and it also your ballot title and summary and your ballot label will say that Prop 16 is necessary in order to address diversity.
No.
Now, when diversity has increased so much since Proposition 209, this is a false label
Very misleading.
to get people to be misled so they will vote yes. So we need to remember, each of us, when we spread the word, it is vote no.
No on 16.
No on 16.
Yeah.
No on 16.
16.
All right,
And
good.
look at all the funny business they're trying to play. You
I
and
would
I
like-
have talked about this so many times.
I would
This
like
is
to
so
share with
misleading.
you this text. That's the explanation of the propositions, right? In 16, it says, only by treating everybody equally can a state as diverse as California be fair to everyone.
Now, that is not in the ballot
That is
statement.
All right. Can you help me explaining this to my audiences, please?
Yeah, so I mean, racial diversity is very misleading. Race is only a piece of us. Which, by the way, once you go to college, you take an anthropology class, you find out that race is biology, and there's only one human race. So for them to put on different racial boxes,
Colorblind.
exactly, is very misleading because you are taught that that's completely wrong in higher education. Yeah.
All right. And your analysis of this?
Well, this is the, basically the opposition to Prop 16's general statement is how we feel, right? There are societal impacts to taking away the merit-based component of, success in society. So
Only by treating everyone equally. Meaning that I give you 50 pounds, I give you 50 pounds, I give you 50 pounds, I leave 50 pounds myself to carry across the street. Can you finish your 50 pounds?
Yes.
Can you?
yeah.
Can
I might
you?
not be able to.
I'm not
may
able
not be
to
able to.
because I have broken legs. All right. So am I treating you equally by giving you each of you 50 pounds?
You could be, because what I could be carrying is an automatic a machine that will
No.
I can put it
I'm
on.
talking about 100 pounds. How about that? How about say we forget the word machine, whatever, on your legs, bare shoulder. I give you 100 pounds.
Then I could not.
Okay, so am I treating you equally by everybody, assigning everybody 100 pound back? I am,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
So, in the sense of, am I being equally right to treat each of you?
Yes.
Not, because you are physically not that much to handle that 100 pound bag, and neither are you.
Because
But to
equal
a
opportunity does not mean equal results.
But
Yeah,
but
of
you
course.
can remedy that. You can remedy that by allowing me to have an electrical vehicle that will carry that 100 pounds.
All right.
So you can address diversity by having other elements
Okay,
that
let's-
are not race.
Let me change to another scenario. Okay, now let's choose some Laker players among the three of you. Right? By percentage, you deserve one seat there. So, can any one of you be there?
Probably not.
Can you be there?
Absolutely not.
Can you be there?
But
Are
we
you
have
discriminating yourself?
No, but here's the thing, Jack. It's not just about diversity of race. There's
All
diversity
right.
of thought.
All
Even
right.
within different NBA
All right.
players, certain ones are better at center.
And the
Other ones
diversity
can
of
free throw better.
situations.
Skill.
Correct.
Diversity of situations.
Correct. So when we're going to college, while like I could be with maybe 50 other Chinese people, but I don't think any of us think very similarly.
Diversity
assuming we're all the same.
of situations.
Right.
And then there's a diversity of even laws, the interpretation of laws.
Yeah.
By law, I have a freedom to go everywhere in the country. Does that mean allow me and a chance to go to the women's bathroom?
I don't know. If you're in Target, it's one gender.
Well, in California, yeah, everything is.
No.
There's
Let's
128 genders.
Let's stick to the point, okay? Now, I want to go back to Betty because she brought up a very, very, very good point. The word diversity is the key.
Diversity will result no matter what.
No. The conclusion is that they wrongly use the word diversity.
Correct.
And this is what is false and misleading by one of the highest constitutional officers in the state of California, and he is being allowed to use this, and we want your donations and your support, viewers, because this is going to be a fight all the way
To the Supreme Court.
the Supreme Court.
Okay, let's put the website on the screen,
Yeah.
right? And we write a screen for our editors, put it on the screen, so we don't have to worry about donation because they will do their part because
And
it's their own job.
I also want to invite the people in Southern California to come to our events. If you go to CFER's website,
There's
or
no event. Event actually.
Yeah, we
actual
do.
event or
We
virtual
just
event?
did a
we just
big
did
rally.
2 car rallies with hundreds of people that showed up.
two cars.
One in Arcadia and one in Irvine. Okay, both very heavily Chinese areas. But what I'm doing the next few weeks is I'm throwing some private events at my house where we're going to have about 50 to 100 people come from specific ethnicities. So we're going to have Filipinos, Hispanics, we're going to have Vietnamese, Indonesians, and we're all going to come in the next few weekends to my
Do you
to
do
my
a
house.
virtual version of each of that? In
Sure.
other words, you televise it, everybody can
Yes.
go online with you.
We will have a Zoom component to those as well, so make sure to see that. And on October 17th, we're going to have a huge block party in partnership with African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, all coming together, minorities on the right, on a block party at On a Mission Church in Walnut.
Very good. Thank
Okay,
you very
so
much.
please come join us.
I'm not done yet. I will with Betty. I still want to meander with the word diversity a little bit because that's so important. Diversity. Okay, now you tell me this: are there situations or scenarios we do not have to consider diversity?
Well, generally, if we want to give everyone an opportunity to succeed and follow their American dream, I think that if you do not apply race, if you do not apply the color of their skin or their gender, it will achieve diversity.
Very good, very good. The same goal can be achieved by playing colorblind.
Amen.
We see that this year. Latino Americans are actually the largest accepted group.
Ginger blind, how about that? Right? Colorblind. And you can still achieve the same goal. Why would you do that?
That's how
because some politicians want certain votes.
Yeah.
They want to favor. This is the politician's
Yeah.
dream, to play favoritism for their own constituencies, and that is why it will cause conflicts in California.
For example, the vice president candidate, Harris,
Yeah.
she needed a vote from the early release prisoners.
Yes.
That's why she made a bill, she made a proposition 57 to uplift the minimum to $950 to go back to jail.
And
So?
also, that is the reason why some of the states, primarily that are democratically controlled and government run, why they are saying no bail for suspects that are submitted, that are being targets of their criminal activities.
All right, my dear friend, we're way over time. We totally forgot the concept. All right. Anyway, when I realized this is too late already. Anyway, I love what we shared with our audiences. I believe my audience will love the fact that we went over. So you digest yourself. Okay, my dear friends, thank you for watching, and to each of you, thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you so much, Jack.
Okay. Bye-bye.